I've never noticed it. It's been noticeable, obviously, this whole season. But it was arguably more noticeable in Seattle than ever. Jett is just on a different planet entirely.
It's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, and I say this not in like a, I say this in the nicest way possible. It's just like what we're observing. It's like everyone who shows up to the race on West Coast is fighting for second place. I mean, you're not fighting for a win. It's just like, it's insane. Did you see Jett's thumbs down on the finish line?
No. Whoa. When he won the race, that's what he did.
When he won the race,
down?
He goes.
Oh, that's funny. No, I saw it was unenthusiastic, whatever it was, but I didn't realize it was a thumbs down.
Yeah. He was not stoked after the race. He thought he rode terrible. He came out probably 4th or 5th and got in first after a couple minutes and drove it home. No drama in the main.
Wow, and he was pissed because he just thought he didn't ride well?
Yeah, he just thought he rode tight. He didn't feel comfortable the whole time. And it's like, dang. Like, wow, that's pretty gnarly, huh?
Yeah, I know we sound like the Lawrence brother hype team, but...
well, in a way we are.
In a way we are.
I'm cool with that title.
But also... just got my pom-poms. But I mean... Holy cow. It really makes my life easy when I have to go teach a class on Monday or Tuesday after the race and then can just use those guys as reference points. I am just grateful to be partnered with them because they just do it right and they make it look so easier than maybe anybody I've ever seen ever make it look easy.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Can you think of anybody that's made it look easier than that?
And this year is different, right? Because it's not just Jett this year. It's Hunter too.
Uh-huh.
Just showing up to work, doing their job, going home. Like, very, very impressive from both of them this year. They just look comfy. They look like, all right, my job's to get to first place and stay there. And that's what they go and do. It's like pretty wild. It
was insane watching that heat race with Jett and McAdoo and the way that he was operating to get by McAdoo, and then the way he squared up when McAdoo went to kind of drive it in on him was so highly intelligent and like well thought out and perfectly executed. I was just like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd. He's operating at a place where he can think differently than the other guys, and you can see it.
Well, it's not only that. It's how quickly you can make decisions. Like, it was so funny. Like, one, it's weird for me, right? Like, we came off of Detroit, P16, best race we've had. We felt like we won the championship. And then I go to Jett, right? And then, like, when I'm shooting, right, there's one person I see on the track. When I'm with you, you're the only guy I see. When I'm with Jett, he's the only guy I see. And watching him ride, I'm just like, what on earth? And he just moves so quickly. Like, when Jett pulls a tear off, his hand is off the bar for less than a second. And it's like, it's insane how quickly. That's the difference, right? Is he just makes decisions so fast. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to watch.
It's cool to watch. That made it exciting. And what was his reaction after the heat race incident? Were you back at the rig after that?
Yeah, they weren't happy.
Walk me through that.
They weren't happy. Now,
who's they?
Oh my God. Everybody who was wearing red was
What
not
did
happy.
Dazzy say?
Dazzy didn't say much of anything.
Okay.
Dazzy actually just takes it all in for the most part on race day. He listens and he analyzes everything that everybody else tells him. Watching Dazzy operate is definitely interesting. Now, I'll say up front, that I will never say anything publicly on a podcast to jeopardize the situation we're in. But yeah, they were pissed, dude. They were pissed because, and I get it, right? It's like when you're fighting for a championship, Jett was clearly the faster guy, right? Like McAdoo was doing a great job of holding him up, right?
Yeah,
that's what
right.
McAdoo's got to do, right? But of course, from their perspective and Jett's perspective and our perspective, it's like Jett's the faster guy. He needs to get by without any drama. You know what I mean? Like, because he was just getting held up the whole time. And now, obviously, the way it happened is the crash itself was weird. Because honestly, like, of course, everyone's placing the blame on McAdoo, but Jett jumped left. And Jett even said in the press conference, like, he thought McAdoo was on the other side of him. So they just happened to come together, really.
Yeah, but he didn't really jump left. He just rode in the middle left line. And then I think upon watching it over and over, like once he doubled in, his table over single, he couldn't have kept it any more straight. He took off and landed exactly and was predictable with where he was going. So yeah, maybe he was trying to hold himself accountable a little bit just by maybe saying he picked the wrong side of the track to go to. Let me think of that situation. Like if I had made a pass on a guy hitting that wall jump, going left in the corner, knowing that 3-on is a potential option, I would feel pretty comfortable probably going down that middle left line too, because unless the guy behind me is a complete maniac, I'm probably thinking, okay, well, if I go 2-on here and table over, the guy to go 3-on is certainly not going to jump it right behind me. That's what I would think. And he did. And not only did he go 3-on, but he decided to go off, which you could go 3-on to that and then make the decision, this isn't really lining up to work so well, and make the decision to roll off of that. You're going to lose a bunch of time, but at least you're not going to jump into the guy. And that's, right, for me, where if I end up frustrated on race day, it is normally the highest reason that would cause that would be somebody else putting me in danger.
Well, so that's exactly why everyone was angry. Like my take on it is like it was a racing incident. It was just a bummer how it happened, right? Like that, you can't do that intentionally is what I'm trying to say, you know? But of course they come off and it's like Jett can't get hurt, like can't afford it. Neither of them can, right? McAdoo might have broke his finger. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Were any words exchanged between the teams or between McAdoo and Jett?
The only thing I saw is at the end of the night is McAdoo walked over to Jett, shook his hand. Okay. That was it. Yeah. Very, very good. No drama, really. And in the press conference, you know, here's what was cool, right? And this will come out in the mindset episode, but they came off heated, right? Because it's like, you just can't be put in dangerous situations like that. I mean, Jett did a freaking front flip.
And again, he crashed really well.
You're right. But it's like that. He's like, we can't take those. We can't be in those situations, right?
Yeah. That could have got him hurt super easy, but thankfully he's just good at crashing.
Yeah, I know. He just did a somersault and was good, but got up. The hand signal was hilarious. The tweet from Hayden and Jordan Smith was hilarious.
Oh, before you move on from that, that was excellent.
Just epic. I love how that happened. Like, I wonder, like,
whoever coordinated or thought of that, unless that actually just happened. My
Genius.
thoughts are that was probably premeditated in some sense, like, or organized in some sense. Like, hey, I bet maybe Old Man D and was like, hey, you should probably tweet this out, and then they get with Jordan and have Jordan send that out. I don't know how it happened. Either way, very smart.
Yeah,
I like that type of stuff because that's what the sport needs, is like strategic and well thought out places to input yourself. That was great. So
I definitely wonder if it was strategic, you know.
What we're referencing is when Jett got taken out by McAdoo and they aired it on the broadcast, which is awesome. Hayden Deegan tweeted, what did he tweet?
Out of line, what's your thoughts? That's all I said.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And Jordan
because
Smith,
obviously that was only to get a huge reaction, and sarcastically so almost. And then what did Jordan say?
A little much for a heat, I would say, is what Jordan Smith said.
That's great.
It's just
they're trolling. They're just trolling on everybody that made drama out of the situation. So
yeah,
really cool. Really cool. I mean, I think that's how you do it.
Yeah, it was
Smart.
funny. I just love how quickly it happened too. Like they showed
Yep.
that in the broadcast, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which
Smart.
is awesome. I mean, it's just great. We were all laughing about it. But what was so cool to see about that whole scenario for me was they all came back heated. They rebuilt the front end completely.
Yeah, what was wrong with it specifically, or they just didn't want to take any chances?
Probably a little bit of both. Probably didn't want to take any chances, but also a bunch of stuff was bent up. They did bars, bar mounts, triple clamps, pulled the forks off to make sure they were fine. Apparently McAdoo's bike was even worse.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty gnarly. But then again, also super cool. Jett, of course, when something goes wrong, he just comes out so much faster than everybody else. It's insane. And with a bike that's bent up, he was just ripping. Like, for the rest of that heat race, it was incredible to watch.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just a different intensity when something goes wrong for that kid, you know. But what was cool is, like, you know, they all came back heated, and by the time we were going out for the main, it was all smiles. Everybody was joking about it. Like, that is something that's very interesting to me, and that's something that the mindset episode this week's going to talk about a good bit.
Oh,
because
good.
it's like, how do you do that? Like, how, I mean, they came off so heated. It's like, we can't be in dangerous situations like that. And then by the time the main event rolls around, which is only an hour, maybe at most, it's all smiles. It's all smiles.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
just have
it's pure confidence is what it is. It creates like a stillness to where why would you worry about something so small like that for any longer than 5 or 10 minutes?
well, it's the thought process of, okay, it happened. Nothing we can do to change it. Now let's go win a main event. You know, and that's really what you got to do. I mean, it is that simple. Like, there's nothing super wise to say about it. It's just they put it behind them. They're like, all right, that's what happened. We can't change it. Let's go win. You know?
Yeah, because they had the camera over there during the broadcast at some point, and I want to say it was closer to the main event. Or maybe it wasn't even. Maybe it was pretty shortly thereafter the heat race, but it was already, people were smiling and it looked normal.
Yeah.
And I remember picking up on that, like, oh, that's no surprise. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, go download them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think that's it. Go download them there. Give them a listen. If you want to watch full episodes, which I tell you what, it's even better to do that. Go to club.themotoacademy.com because Moto Academy subscribers inside of the app have exclusive access to watch the entire episodes. And not only that, the subscribers actually can send in their questions to be answered on the podcast as well. Club.themotoacademy.com. Go subscribe.